Good evening and welcome to the main news. I am Tariro Manamike.
And I am Tanaka Mienyo. Thank you very much for joining us tonight. Noble Maungwa is at the sign language desk. We'll start off by taking a look at the stories that we're leading with tonight. Zimbabwe's turnout in numbers for Constitutional Amendment number 3 bill hearings.
And in sport, Zimbabwe Warriors target silverware in Four Nations final against Zambia. Now, those were our headlines, and I'll give you the news in detail. Constitutional Amendment number 3 bill public hearings started on a high note this Monday, with Zimbabweans turning out in their numbers at various venues across the country. We get more from our news teams.
Harare Chitungwiza Aquatic Complex reached full capacity as hundreds of people attended the Constitutional Amendment number 3 bill public hearings. The public hearings provided citizens with a platform to submit their oral and written input before the bill is formally tabled for debate in the National Assembly.
Amendment bill number 3 mutungamiri wenyika neparlamendi nemakansela vose vapiwa mukana tiri kupamhidzira makore maviri pamashanu anga aripo kuti ave 7 kuitira development.
Tinoti amendment bill number 3 pamberi nayo ngaende mberi
kuti tinzwisise reasons why ndichitsigira amendment bill number 3 ndoda kutanga nekuti tine inonzi vision 2030 yatakapigwa na president, a vision that is supposed to take our nation into an upper middle income economy by the year 2030.
Kuma parliament kuriko nemasenators vedu vanenge vachingovhota nekuda kwapresident zvinenge zvichisevha kunyange netime yedu zvinosevha kunyange maresources.
Tinosapota constitutional amendment bill number 3. Chikonzero ndechekuti rinopromota peace, unity, development.
We caught up with the chairperson of the public hearings at Team I, Senator 11 Kambizi, who gave us an overview of the day's proceedings and the general outcome of the public consultations.
The attendance was overwhelming, and that really means people are ready to speak their views out. They came in their numbers, they spoke. We recorded, we listened. So this program ends on Thursday, the 2nd of April. Friday, we sit down, we compile our reports for submission to Parliament.
The legislative amendment proposes an extension of presidential and parliamentary terms from 5 to 7 years, while also proposing a parliamentary process in the election of the president.
This hall right here was filled to the brim as thousands of people from Bulawayo showed up to shape the national discourse. The room was a blend of generations, with both the elderly and the young taking part in this historical national defining moment.
I am fully in support of the amendment bill number 3, specifically the amendment clause number 15, which seeks to replace the phrase "to uphold" with the phrase "to act in accordance." This creates clarity as it strengthens the rule of law.
Thina njengobulawayo siyayisapota i-amendment bill number 3.
The second session of Bulawayo's public hearings that are going on throughout the country took place here at Nketha Hall, where the majority endorsed the Constitutional Amendment number 3 bill, with most of them saying that it will give the Second Republic an opportunity to put to fruition its developmental projects.
I fully support bill amendment number 3, particularly clause number 2, which proposed to shift election of the president from direct popular vote to indirect parliamentary election.
Isekela bill number 3 ngamandla langepower ngenxa yalokho ukubana upresident aqedise okufanele akwenze.
Political analysts commended Bulawayo residents for conducting the public hearings in a peaceful manner.
The idea that people came in large numbers also speaks of the importance of a constitutional amendment. Or even when the constitutional reform happened, everyone was up to it. But that should be expected.
Most people attended public hearings in Bulawayo highlighted that they are in support of the constitutional amendment number 3 bill, with a particular focus on clause 12, 19, 15, 2 and 4.
Public hearings on the constitutional amendment number 3 bill were oversubscribed in Bindura. People were here at Tendai Hall as early as 7 a.m. eager to give their views.
People from different walks of life expressed their various views on what they would like to see in the draft legislation.
Ndinosapota clause yekuti term of office president extended from 5 to 7. And I understand you are not extending number of terms. Inotipa nguva yekusema business emunombedwa anoshanda nemakorokoza nemafamasi. Tinowana nguva yekushanda zvakasununguka pasina madisturbance. Madzimambo ndo varidzi vepolitics. Tikatarisa kumashure, colonial ichiuya yakatanga kurwisana nemadzimambo vachidefenda nyika yavo. Madzimambo ndo macustodians eculture nenyaya yefu. Saka madzimambo ngavapinde mupolitics full time.
Legislature general ngavachibatawo nyaya yevoters law nokuti ndokwatinotora mabhethi, ndokwatinotora zvitupa, ndokwatinorejista kuti munhu achata, ndokwatinorejista kuti munhu afa.
The constitutional making process is not just the consideration of the submissions of the executive as they submit the bill or parliament as it embarks on lawmaking, but we go out to the people so that we can really hear their input and their views, and we take those into account and produce a report which will guide our process.
In the afternoon, the Portfolio Committee convened a public hearing at Nzimbo Growth Point Council Hall in Mazoe District to gather the views of the people, where the venue was also filled beyond capacity.
The Parliamentary Joint Select Committee, which convened this public hearing, will continue to convene public hearings in the province throughout the week. Those who could not express their views here can do so via email.
In Mashonaland West Province, the public consultations were a success. Parliament held these engagements across 4 centers, which are Mamina in Mondoro Mbaira, Rafingora in Zimba, Chipfundi in Makonde District, as well as Chegutu. The bill received overwhelming support following a huge turnout by communities.
Each and every 5 years, when we go to elections, saka tikaenda pa 7 years zvinoita kuti zvoni nyika yedu iende mberi, development iende mberi.
Tikangoshandisa database riri kwa registrar general rinenge riri yatinoti iri real time, rino updatewa as things happen.
Kana mutungamiri wenyika akusarudzwa kudare reparliament kune vanhu vashoma, zvinomanejeka kuti hakuna anogona kudzoka achiti pasarudzo idzidzi ndakabirirwa
kutenda amendment number 3 tiva madzimambo ane chikuita nezvenyika.
Chairperson leading the parliamentary delegation, Honorable Senator Kudakwashe Matibiri, gave an overview of the day's proceedings.
Vanhu vabuda nehuwandu hwavo, vanhu vataura pfungwa dzavo maringe constitutional amendment bill number 3 murunyararo. Hatina kusangana nematambudziko kumavenues ese, uyezve takwanisa kuti vanhu vakawanda vataure, tikasiyazve nzira dzekuti vasina kukwanisa kubudirira kuuya kana kutaura vagosvitsa mashoko avo.
Day 1 was a success. Tomorrow Parliament is continuing with the same proceedings in Makande community of Kariba Rural as well as Pechwe in Sanyati.
The people of Chiwezi came out in numbers to exercise their constitutional rights to participate in the public hearings led by the Parliament of Zimbabwe on the proposed changes to the Constitution under Constitutional Amendment number 3 bill. And it seems like most people are in agreement with all the proposed changes to the Constitution, because most of them are saying that it is a progressive piece of legislation which also promotes good governance.
Mina niyimelele vanhu ningavasiya kaya ni sapota ngopfu a clause number 3 yokuma MPs avotele president tinoita kuti ndiyitsigire ndechekuti ndiri kuona kuti involvement yedu sevagari inoramba iripo.
Extension yeterm yeleadership inotibatsira sevarimi venzinde kuti tikwanise kuita investment yedu panguva yakareba.
Tinoona izvi zvakatinakira kuti maelection asagara achingoitika nguva dzoga.
President vawane mukana wokuappointa masenators mamwe 10 ndopanowanikwa mukana wokuti panozowanikwa matechnocrats.
Chairperson of the Parliamentary Portfolio Committee on Justice, Legal and Parliamentary Affairs, Honorable Edson Jobo Jr. was impressed with the level of knowledge which was exhibited by the people who made contributions.
It was peaceful, people were enthusiastic. I was actually surprised at the level of knowledge of the people. A lot of them must have studied for quite a long time to get to grips with the issues involved.
Some of the proposed changes include the appointment of 10 more senators by the president, increasing the number from 80 to 90, to widen options for the selection of ministers, and also the involvement of chiefs in the political space. In Masvingo province, the public consultations were also taken to Zaka district to give people from that district an opportunity to also contribute towards the proposed changes to the constitution under Constitutional Amendment number 3 bill. And these public hearings are going to continue up until Thursday, the 2nd of April.
Meanwhile, other centers across the country were equally packed as the Constitutional Amendment number 3 bill public consultations started this Monday.
The Hin Memorial and Mtokazi halls of Umzingwane and Felabusi were this Monday, the 30th of March, filled to the brim with hundreds of people gathered to give their views on the ongoing public hearings on the Constitutional Amendment number 3 bill. Now, let me give you the major highlights on the public hearings that were done here in Nsiza and Felabusi insofar as the Constitutional Amendment number 3 bill. The major clauses of the 22 clauses in the bill that were touched on were those clauses to do with the transferring of responsibility in terms of registering voters, maintaining and compiling the voters' roll and registers from the Zimbabwe Electoral Commission, ZEC, to the Registrar General. They also touched that clause that deals with the extension of presidential and parliamentary terms from 5 years to 7 years. They also spoke about the role of traditional leaders insofar as politics of this land is concerned.
Cycle election iye ku 7 years ngibona ngathi kuzanika ithuba kakhulu le development ukuthi i-administration ezoba ikhona development wise izaba lesikhathi enough within those 7 years.
Results ngawusovota ama-parliamentarians kulabanye abasuka bethi ngawuvota bagijima benza amawala announce ama-results ethi uwinile ngawunako, but ngawuvota abantu abe-parliament abalutshwane in the next 2 or 3 hours sesikwazi ukuba nosenjani osevotwa umongameli.
Nguva yapfupi yapfuura tanga tichiona ZEC ichibata zvose kurejista vanhu nekuvhotesa vanhu. Iko zvine zvindiri kutsigira kuti bandiko iroro shanduko iyoyo ipinde muregistrar general.
Izaletha ukuthi ubudlwangudlwangu lobe sasibuzwe kakhulu ukuthi mina yimi ngiwinileyo, mina yimi ngithembi kuzophela.
Sekela kakhulu ukwengezwa kwama-senators. Nginanzelela ukubana kungayengezwa ama-senators kungezwe ubukhaliphi lobungcithi eofisini.
The Constitutional Amendment number 3 bill seeks, among other things, to establish a parliamentary system of electing the president.
People managed to express themselves. There was no violence. People aired out their views in peace, which is what we encourage as a nation.
The public hearings on the Constitutional Amendment number 3 bill will continue from today on the 30th of March to Thursday, with Bulili Masinyele Hall and Sanzukwe in Mangwe, Malundi in Matobo, West Nicholson in Gwanda and Lutumba in Beitbridge being the venues for these public hearings.
The people of Mtasa came out in numbers to share their perspectives on the Constitutional Amendment number 3 bill this afternoon. Speakers at this public hearing noted how extending the parliamentary and presidential term from 5 to 7 years would impact high-impact economic projects in the province without the interruption of election cycles. These public hearings are meant to gather the people's views on the amendments on some sections of the constitution of the country.
We have had significant contributions from the community here in Mutasa. Similarly, we had same kind of turnout and contributions from the people of Nyanga district. So overall, I would say that today we've had 2 very successful meetings in which people were free to express their views, express their contributions with regards to the clauses in the Amendment number 3 bill.
Earlier on today, similar public hearings were held in Nyanga district at Nyamoka Hall, and tomorrow the public consultations are set to be taken to Makoni and Mutare districts.
In Matabeleland North, Cholocho Rural District Council was the venue for the ongoing constitutional amendment number 3 bill consultations. As in any robust democracy, there were many views that came up concerning this important bill.
Ngiyasekela bill number 3. Ngimsekela ngezizathu zonke.
Bill number 3. Ngiyisupportela phezwe bombono we-Senate.
Wonke ama-clause to me ngabona right kakhulu njalo ngesifisa ukuthi ngabe wonke umuntu wabona ngendlela mina engabona ngayo.
Okokuqala ngiphakamele ukusupporta ubill number 3. Ngisithi ubill number 3 akaqhubekele phambili. Ngenhloso zonke ezikhulunywe ngabayisupporta lami ngithi khonapho.
The legislature, an important arm in state lawmaking, is running these public consultations.
Silapha eCholojo namhlanje sasa siyabe sewange sizadlulela siyofika leseBhinga size sigcine seselupani. Sihamba sithatha imibono yabantu. Asibuyanga ukuzokhulumisana labo ukuthi kumbe siyaphendulana labo. Sizokuzwa ukuthi bona bathini ngebhili le esifakiwe ama-clause la afakwe into ezifuna ukutshintshwa ukuthi bona bathini bakubona kuyikho yini kumbe babona ngendlela ehlukeneyo.
A very critical bill. This mechanism is a very important way of ensuring that citizens' voices are heard all across the country. The process, which began this Monday, will be taken to all the 7 districts of Matabeleland North Province.
In Gokwe and Kwekwe district, consultations for the constitutional amendment number 3 bill were oversubscribed as people came in their numbers to air their views on the proposed piece of legislation. Here in Kwekwe, all these people had to follow proceedings from outside as the venue to the meeting proved to be too small.
Are fully behind clause number 2, which allows the parliament to elect the president. As this promotes fairness and judicial oversight. This is what is happening in neighboring countries like South Africa and Botswana.
Development iri kutadza kuenderera mberi nokuda kwekuti 5 years dzinokasira kupera.
In Gokwe, they also came in droves to air their views on the proposed piece of legislation.
In full support of bill number 3 because in my clauses akawanda and my clauses my clauses, so I'm not going to get into the clauses, but those clauses, they are going to ensure transparency and accountability in our government.
Buriswane bill iratiri kusupporta 100% ndeyekuti ma-resources estate achaitwa channeled towards developments.
The parliamentary team leading proceedings say they are happy with the response from the public as well as the peaceful environment obtaining during the consultations.
Vanhu vari kutaura vasina kana kutya, vasina kana kuti unoona kuti vanhu vanotaura pfungwa dzavo. Saka tiri kuti isu chedu kungotora pfungwa dzavo sezvadziri tichinda nadzo.
Consultations to the Constitutional Amendment number 3 bill, which began this Monday, form a critical stage in the formulation of the proposed piece of legislation, which shall chart the way forward.
In Mashonaland East Province, the public hearings on the Constitutional Amendment number 3 bill were held in Seke, Chikomba and Wedza, with the meetings being held in a peaceful environment. There was overwhelming support to the constitutional reforms by Mashonaland East residents, who described the bill as a defining moment in the national quest to achieve an upper middle income society by 2030.
Tinoona zviri zvakanaka kuti mari yedu iende kudevelopment tiachieve upper middle income economy yedu.
Ndinotsigira kunyaya pakanzi president vakuvhoterwa neparliament. Nokuda kwekuti president vakavhoterwa neparliament, mavhotsi acho anenge asina kunyanya kuwanda senyika yese payaivhota, anokwanisa kuverengeka nenguva.
Kuwedzerwa kumakore ekutonga emutungamiriri, izvi zvinoita kuti awane nguva yekusimudzira budiriro yenyika.
President vedu vakuzosarudzwa nenhengo dzeparamendi. Nhengo dzeparamendi dzinokodzera kutimiririra vachiita ripi basa.
Team leader Honorable Caston Mateu says the hearings were smooth in Mashonaland East this Monday.
Everything was well, the people were well behaved, and as parliamentarians we were happy with the reception that we got in the 2 districts that we were in today.
This Tuesday, the public hearings descend on Marondera and Goromonzi before descending to other districts within the province.
In other news, ZBC's Panashe Nagoli sat down with public governance expert Dr. Tawanda Zinyama to discuss how public consultations are a critical platform for Zimbabweans to air their views on this bill.
With day one of the 4-day parliament-led public consultations on the Constitutional Amendment number 3 bill done, there are critical questions which ought to be asked about the proposed law and the parliamentary process. How crucial is the 90-day period from gazetting? Is there a need for a national referendum on the bill? And how best should the public take advantage of these consultations to air their views? Now, I sat down with political analyst and University of Zimbabwe public governance expert, Dr. Tawanda Zinyama, who had this to say.
The people determine how they want to be governed. So this is now the opportunity for the people to articulate and design the constitutional order that they want to see obtaining in Zimbabwe. So that is very important. So public participation, that is the bedrock of democracy.
What should the public actually be doing? How should their input look like when they are attending these public hearings from the 30th to the 2nd of April?
They have to understand the 2 critical issues. One, Zimbabwe is a democratic state. So people should go out and say exactly what they want. Do they really want the constitution to extend the term of the president, for instance? And also to make sure that they are limited, of which is provided for in section 95 of the constitution. The term is limited. So extending the term is different from changing the limits of the term. Then secondly, I think there is a need for people also to appreciate that when you are amending a constitution, there is a need. Constitutions are not cast in stone. They are not rigid documents. They are not inflexible documents. They are very flexible in such a way that, whenever there are evolving, changing issues within the community, Zimbabwean community, you should feel free to change so that you model your governance system the way you want to achieve your desired goals.
One of the issues that has been consistently raised is whether there is need for a national referendum on the bill. Dr. Zinyama is of the view that the proposed clauses of the bill do not amend sections of the Constitution which require a referendum.
There is no need to conduct a referendum in order to change the cycle of electoral process in Zimbabwe from 5 years to 7 years. Why it is not necessary? Because the Constitution is very clear. So if you look at the Constitution has provided provisions or areas that require a referendum. So if you look at, if you are amending, for instance, Chapter 4, which deals with the Bill of Rights, the freedoms of the people, you need a referendum. So if you look at what is proposed, the 21 clauses contained in the Constitutional Amendment number 3, there is not even one that requires a referendum.
The Parliament of Zimbabwe has designated a total of 65 venues across the nation's 10 provinces for sufficient public participation in the process. Written views are also being submitted here at the Old Parliament building in the nation's capital. And with day one done, the question is, come the 2nd of April, what will be the general national consensus and sentiment over the highly debated Constitutional Amendment number 3 bill? Panashe Nagoli, ZBC News, Harare.
The First Lady, Dr. Auxillia Mnangagwa, has rallied behind Zimbabweans to embrace a culture of cleanliness and responsible waste management, saying the future demands sustainable waste management practices that create jobs and protect public health.
The First Lady, Dr. Auxillia Mnangagwa, who is the environment patron, highlighted the need to transition to circular economy, saying it is not just an environmental necessity, but a game changer which paves the way for economic development. Dr. Mnangagwa made these remarks at the International Solid Waste Association ISWA 2026 Waste Management and Circular Economy Conference held in Harare this Monday. The event, which was held under the theme Enhancing Sustainable Waste Management Practices in Circular Economy, was oversubscribed with stakeholders in the environment sector, including those from Ghana, the United Kingdom, Eswatini, and Canada in attendance. The First Lady, who was the guest of honor, started by taking a tour of exhibitions where amazing recycled creations, including chairs, jewelry, tables and bags, showcasing innovative art from waste, were on display. She then proceeded to address guests, highlighting that the hosting of the regional conference in the country reflects the confidence the international community has in Zimbabwe's commitment to environmental stewardship and sustainable development. The First Lady also said waste should no longer be viewed as a burden, but as an opportunity for transformation, job creation, and poverty reduction, particularly for youths and women.
Transitioning to a circular economy is not just an environmental necessity, but it is a catalyst for job creation, particularly for youth, women, and a vital tool for poverty reduction. The National Development Strategy 2 emphasizes a transition toward a circular economy as a primary driver for environmental sustainability and resource efficiency. By prioritizing reuse and recycle hierarchy, the framework seeks to move away from the traditional linear model, particularly in the management of solid waste. This shift involves strengthening regulatory frameworks to incentivize waste-to-energy projects and formalizing the recycling sector.
Dr. Mnangagwa commended public-private partnerships, PPPs, that are bearing fruit across the nation.
I am particularly proud of the public-private partnerships, PPPs, that are bearing fruit across our nation. Notably, the Geopomona Waste-to-Energy initiative demonstrates how we can transition from hazardous open dump sites to state-of-the-art sanitary landfills that recover energy effectively, turning waste into a resource. I would like to recognize and commend the partnership between Geopomona Waste Management and the ISWA Africa Regional Chapter. This collaboration reflects an important step towards the professionalism of the waste management sector and the advancement of a modern resource-efficient economy. Through knowledge sharing, technical cooperation, and regional engagement, such partnerships strengthen our collective ability to transform waste into opportunity.
Furthermore, the environment patron commended Zimbabwe's National Cleanup Day, observed every first Friday of the month, saying it serves as a high-level strategic instrument for fostering a national culture of environmental stewardship and collective responsibility. However, she rallied all to do cleanup exercises every day, since cleaning is life. Chairperson of the Advisory Board of the International Solid Waste Association ISWA Africa Regional Chapter, Ms. Mpendulo Gininza, said Africa's solutions to environmental challenges should be developed by Africans.
We are not waiting for solutions to come from elsewhere.
We are affirming that Africa's solutions must be developed here by Africans and for Africa. This is a demonstration of leadership, and we honor it.
GeoPomona CEO and Executive Chairman Dr. Delish Nguwaya highlighted some of the initiatives they have implemented to teach communities that environmental stewardship is everyone's responsibility.
Years ago, I stood at the edge of Pomona dam site. The smoke was suffocating, the smell was unbearable, this place was toxic. It was an unlivable place. People used to avoid that place because no one wanted to live to that place. But when it took over from City of Harare, we transformed the place to become a model waste management facility which meets international standards.
The Minister of Environment, Climate and Wildlife, Dr. Evelyn Ndlovu, highlighted that her ministry is pushing for the adoption of circular economy focused on reducing, reusing and recycling for economic growth.
Our ministry is pushing for the adoption of a circular economy focused on reducing, reusing and recycling, offering opportunities for the job creation in our economy, economic growth to grow our GDP, and improving sustainability through stronger policies, investment, partnerships, and community initiatives.
EMA Director General Mr. Aaron Chigona indicated that waste should no longer be perceived a challenge, but as an economic enabler.
We are no longer having solid waste in this country. We are having opportunities from a resource which we are not supposed to continue calling waste, because our patron, our champion, we have said in Zimbabwe, we are leading Africa in a zero waste movement.
The Minister of State for Provincial Affairs and Devolution, Harare Metropolitan Province, Senator Charles Tawengwa, reaffirmed Harare's unwavering commitment to environmental stewardship and sustainable urban development, pledging to support initiatives that unlock value from waste while protecting public health. Zimbabwe has made significant strides in sustainable waste management, shifting from traditional dumping towards circular economy models, waste to energy projects, and enhanced regulatory frameworks. Key progress included the GeoPomona Waste Management Project, national cleanup exercises, the deployment of new modern refuse collection trucks and compactors to improve waste collection and efficiency in urban areas. Colette Msanyera, ZBC News, Harare.
The 11th summit of the Organization of African, Caribbean and Pacific States ended in Malabo, Equatorial Guinea, with leaders reaffirming their commitment to South-to-South cooperation, economic transformation, as well as global solidarity. Foreign Affairs and International Trade Minister Professor Eamon Murwira was representing the President, Dr. Emmerson Mnangagwa.
The Malabo Summit marked 50 years of the OACPS, bringing together 79 member states from Africa, the Caribbean and Pacific regions to redefine their collective future in a rapidly changing world. High-level preparatory forums focusing on youth, women, private sector development, climate change, as well as peace and security helped shape a results-driven agenda. Professor Eamon Murwira says the summit placed a strong emphasis on transforming the organization into a more effective and responsive institution, stressing the summit also served as a strategic diplomatic platform to advance Zimbabwe's bid for a non-permanent seat on the UN Security Council.
This summit looked at the issues of strengthening the OACPS. We discussed around 3 areas to do with the economy, the youth, the women, and the business conference, which was hosted by the president of Gabon. When it comes to the specific interests of Zimbabwe concerning this conference, you would remember that Zimbabwe is vying for the non-permanent seat of the United Nations Security Council. Elections going to be held on 3 June 2026. We were able to have a special slot also in the conference to talk about Zimbabwe's bid.
Chair of the 11th Summit of OACPS, President Teodoro Obiang Nguema Basongo of Equatorial Guinea described the summit as a turning point for the organization.
We have demonstrated that our organization remains a space for dialogue, solidarity, and cooperation among our peoples.
Leaders committed to strengthening multilateralism, boosting economic integration, and addressing global challenges, including climate change, inequality, and insecurity.
Our present meeting, which coincides with the 50th anniversary of the OACPS, is held at a pivotal moment for our organization. 50 years ago, in a world marked by the legacy of decolonization and structural imbalances in the global economy, our states made the bold choice of unity, solidarity, and a collective voice.
From reinforcing South-to-South cooperation to advancing global representation, the Malabo Summit set the stage for a more unified and influential OACPS, with attention turning to the implementation of its resolutions for meaningful development outcomes. Olina Ndori, ZBC News.
Zimbabweans are looking forward to the imminent introduction of the upgraded ZiG notes known as the Big Five, which are expected to provide convenience to the transacting public.
32 cents, can I give you airtime for your voucher?
Next customer.
You don't have change?
For 32 cents.
Yeah.
I can give you airtime.
Consumers have been facing problems in terms of the availability of change, and in some instances they were forced to buy things that they don't wish, or even getting airtime as part of change. Next week that will be over, as the Reserve Bank of Zimbabwe will introduce an upgraded Zimbabwe gold notes branded as the Big Five, as the Reserve Bank of Zimbabwe continues to promote the use of the local ZiG currency.
The coming in of the Big Five, it will actually enhance confidence from the public. It also improves things to do with customer convenience. Previously, it was an issue to do with change. We had a big issue. Someone will bring his $1 and you try to find a way of giving them change in ZiG.
For public transport operators, it has been a nightmare in terms of change, and the introduction of the ZiG notes will come as a relief on doing business.
We did not have change. Remember, we are not even able to charge the correct fares. For example, we want to charge 70 cents. Maybe we want to charge 30 cents or 40 cents to Bareleniatwa. We are not able to do that because we don't have the denominations for change.
$50 wakomana ahuna zigi lacho anditika wabatanidzwa nemumu noni kwakufambiswa nevarume vasiri vedu materminals apa pamba chitotengeswa mazepe.
However, calls for the Reserve Bank of Zimbabwe to adopt a phased approach in introducing the new currency are getting louder to avoid reversing some of the gains aimed in stabilizing the economy.
The central bank governor should go for the phased approach in terms of the introduction. First of all, let's have a replacement of the old notes. And then after that, if the exchange rate is that, then we introduce maybe a 50 note and then maybe a 100 note.
The reintroduction of the ZiG coins also deserves special mention as supporting the small transactions.
For the past 1 month, the Reserve Bank of Zimbabwe has been conducting pre-ZiG launch campaigns across the country in order to educate the public on the new features of the ZiG notes. And by next week, these new notes will be in circulation, much to the relief of the transacting public. Owen Mandova, ZBC News, Harare.
Work of ministers responsible for gender across Africa has been identified as critical in creating a system of mutual accountability to accelerate gender equality on the continent. This emerged at the just concluded Women's Forum of the Organization of African, Caribbean and Pacific States held in Malabo, Equatorial Guinea, on the sidelines of the 11th Summit of Heads of State and Government. Articulating Zimbabwe's position in advancing women's participation in the agricultural sector, Women's Affairs, Community and Small and Medium Enterprises Development Minister, Senator Monica Muchangwa, outlined the country's bold and transformative initiatives of empowering women in agri-food systems.
The forum provided an important platform to highlight the central role of women in agriculture, food systems, and community resilience across the OACPS regions, while also drawing attention to the persistent barriers that continue to limit their full participation and leadership. Your Excellency, the forum considered the following themes: A, women in agri-food systems and value chains, finance, climate-smart innovations and market access, and women, climate resilience, green transitions, and food security. The main conclusions of the Women's Forum were as follows. 1, the need to strengthen women's leadership, and in particular, young women's leadership, across agri-food systems and agricultural value chains.
In our next report, Zimbabwe has been commended for making progress in upholding human rights in line with the African Charter on Human and People's Rights.
The visiting delegation from the African Commission on Human and People's Rights paid a courtesy call on the Minister of Justice, Legal and Parliamentary Affairs, Honorable Ziyambi Ziyambi, at his offices in Harare this Monday.
We're here to engage in constructive dialogue with the government of Zimbabwe, to discuss with the government matters relating to monitoring and implementation of the African Charter and giving visibility to African Charter, try to get the perspective of the government on the role of the African Commission, basically to give visibility. Also to promote the African Charter and other instruments that are issued under the Charter.
The Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Justice, Legal and Parliamentary Affairs, Mrs. Bimbai Nyemba, was also in attendance.
This is a promotional visit by the African Commission on People and on Human Rights. We are very happy to have them in Zimbabwe. This promotional visit did not happen to Zimbabwe only.
Earlier in the day, the delegation also paid a courtesy call on the Speaker of the National Assembly, Advocate Jacob Mdenda, where they deliberated on several issues. The delegation is also expected to visit several government ministries and civil organizations. Peter Chivima, ZBC News, Harare.
Now, for these and more stories, be sure to log on to our website. That's www.zbc.co.zw. You can also follow us on our X handle, and that is at ZBC News Online. We also have a Facebook page as well as a YouTube page. And now for stories still to come in this bulletin. Zimbabweans turn out in numbers for Constitutional Amendment Number 3 bill hearings. And we'll now take a short break, but when we come back, we'll give you the rest of the news bulletin.
Every day, millions of moments travel through the air. A call home, a payment made, a lesson learned, a life saved. But behind each moment is something steady, something quiet, unseen, unshaken, powering connection, supporting lives. This is Econet Infraco, Zimbabwe's largest private infrastructure group, comprising towers, power, and real estate. We build and operate the essential systems that hold the country together with scale, certainty, and purpose. We bring together 3 powerful engines of progress under one roof. Towers that carry the signal, clean energy that keeps it alive, and foundations that hold it all in one place. Because behind every connection, every transaction, every step forward, there's a quiet force. Econet Infraco, built for resilience, designed for growth.
Every day, Africa's financial institutions protect something priceless: trust. Trust to move money safely, keep economies running, and support customers whenever they need it. But the landscape is shifting. Security threats are rising, regulations are tougher, and customers' expectations are higher. Downtime is simply not an option. That's why financial institutions need infrastructure that is secure, resilient, and built to scale. Liquid Intelligent Technologies powers Africa's financial sector to operate safely, efficiently, and without interruption. From branches to data centers and the cloud, we deliver mission-critical connectivity with 24/7 operations that detect threats early. With world-class data centers and continent-wide disaster recovery, Liquid keeps services online at all times. Our network drives fast, secure transactions so banks and fintechs can serve customers instantly. We build the digital foundation for Africa's financial future.
The Zimbabwe International Trade Fair 2026 is here. It's Zimbabwe's premium platform for trade, innovation, and building global connections. For more than half a century, the ZITF show has been at the heart of innovation and integration of ideas behind Zimbabwe's industrialization and economic growth. At ZITF 2026, we take this a step further, positioning local, regional, and international businesses for global integration, driving Zimbabwe and Africa's transformation. Be a part of the journey to unlocking local, continental, and global opportunities at ZITF 2026 from the 20th to the 25th of April 2026 in Bulawayo. Register today and unleash your business growth. ZITF 2026, Connected Economies, Competitive Industries.
No one bore a greater burden. No one rose in greater glory. No one showed us greater love. Celebrate his resurrection by experiencing his greater love.
Welcome to a decade of innovation, a legacy of trust, as Oxford Properties celebrates 10 years of excellence, from the success of Aspendale Park to our newest vision. We invite you to discover Borrowdale Park. Experience premium stands ranging from 400 to 800 square meters, with flexible payment plans designed for your future. Perfectly situated less than 5 kilometers from Sam Levy's village, this is where convenience meets sophistication. This is a complete lifestyle sanctuary, a secure, gated community featuring on-site schools, a medical clinic, and a modern shopping mall. From our dynamic business park to paved wellness trails and dedicated sports facilities, every detail, including a dedicated fire station, is built into the heart of the community. With title deeds guaranteed and professionally designed house plans ready for you, your peace of mind is our priority. Borrowdale Park. Designed for living.
The Vice President, Honorable Colonel Retired Dr. KCD Mohadi, extends his deepest and most sincere gratitude to His Excellency, the President of the Republic of Zimbabwe, Dr. Emmerson Dambudzo Mnangagwa, corporates, institutions, and individuals for generously contributing towards the success of the Ingucheni Central Hospital fundraising luncheon held on Friday, 20 March 2026. Your invaluable support, financial contributions, sponsorships, donations in cash or kind, and your presence on the day made a meaningful difference in advancing the shared goal of improving infrastructure and healthcare services at Ingucheni Central Hospital. Because of your generosity, the luncheon was a resounding success, and the funds raised will go a long way in enhancing infrastructure and patient care at Ingucheni Central Hospital. Nyika inova kwa nevene vayo, iliswe lakiwa ngavanikazi wao.
Welcome back. You're still watching the main news. Thank you for staying with us. In our next report, the government is working on several empowerment projects for veterans of the liberation struggle, with the Chisase Project Farm in Masvingo set to drive agricultural production and create sustainable income generating opportunities. We get more in the following report.
As government continues to prioritize the empowerment of veterans of the liberation struggle, the Chisase Farm project in Masvingo is fast becoming a beacon of transformation and economic inclusion. Sitting on 210 hectares of land, the project, owned by veterans of the liberation struggle, youths and the community, is already yielding positive results, with more than 50 hectares under agriculture. Veterans of the liberation struggle expressed gratitude to government for facilitating access to land and resources.
My mandate edu, number one was to make sure that welfare of my veterans of the liberation struggle improve.
These empowerment projects are very important for us.
Now this company is a blessing to Kwatirimo as well veterans. Kuti vari kutoeva chidaro nokuti tawana a partner.
This is going to create employment for the locals. This is going to create employment for the youths. This is going to empower the whole veterans.
The project, which is being administered by the Veterans Investment Holding Company, is set for expansion, with plans underway to venture into sugarcane production.
Going forward, our plan is to again utilize this place all year round. As you can see, there is consistent water supply. So we are going to work on putting an irrigation system here.
The Minister of War Veterans Affairs, Honorable Monica Mavunga, who told the project this Monday, reaffirmed government's commitment to supporting similar initiatives across the country.
Together with VIHC, we will continue to engage and pursue opportunities that improve livelihoods of our veterans in line with the aspirations of Vision 2030.
The Chisase Farm project stands as a testament to the Second Republic's drive to empower veterans of the liberation struggle and promote inclusive agricultural development. Mace Matina, ZBC News, Masvingo.
The adoption of artificial intelligence in judicial processes has come under the spotlight at the Judges' End-of-Term Symposium, which is underway in Victoria Falls. And we get more details from our reporter, Yolanda Moyo.
The shift from a traditional paper-based litigation to a high-tech courtroom is no longer a distant prospect, but a current reality for Zimbabwe's legal system. Against this background, the Judicial Service Commission brought together the nation's top legal minds and international experts to debate the accelerating integration of digital tools such as AI, artificial intelligence, into court processes and the implications for constitutional rights, judicial independence and due process. Chief Justice Luke Malaba reminded the bench that technological process in the justice system should advance access to justice without compromising the foundational principles that define the rule of law.
AI, yes, the judge will never be touched. We want to keep judicial independence in AI. We want to protect human rights in AI. Judging, human judgment is always the element of justice. That cannot be taken over by a machine. We can't do that. So whatever we do, we will leave the human judgment there.
Central to this shift is the integrated electronic case management system, which was launched some years ago, and the system on the ground has already dismantled the age-old hurdles of paper-heavy filing and fiscal backlogs. Justice Secretary Mr. Walter Chikwana outlined how the Commission is now looking beyond simple digitization towards embedding of AI.
We are looking at various ways in which we can use artificial intelligence to improve our processes. Firstly, some research work. Then, of course, we also want to use artificial intelligence in improving the efficiency.
The conversation here in Victoria Falls occurs against the backdrop of Zimbabwe's recent launch of its national AI strategy, which runs from the year 2026 to the year 2030, a blueprint aimed at guiding responsible AI use in public administration, service delivery, and economic modernization. Yolande Moyo, ZBC News, Victoria Falls.
From technology to agriculture, as part of a wider response to fall armyworm threat, the government continues to roll out field research trials to educate farmers on the most effective control methods.
With the fall armyworm threatening crop production across farming communities, government is implementing field trials for its management and control nationwide. Agronomists and crop protection experts demonstrated these field research trials this Saturday at Art Farm in Harare, showcasing a local seed treatment chemical for Tenza Duo, which protects maize crops against fall armyworm.
Mushonga uya wekuti tisati tadyara tinousanganisa nembeu yedu kuitira kuti tidzivirire chibage chedu kubva kune zvipukanana kunyanya chipukanana chanetsa munyika medu chiri kukanganisa chibage chipukanana che4 armyworm.
The beauty of it is a seed treatment. It controls fall armyworm up to 4 weeks after planting, and it also controls other pests like cutworms, white grubs, as well as aphids and other sucking pests.
We have made great observations that we have actually seen here at this Art Farm open field day, where we have just witnessed the different technologies that are being used here, especially the seed treatment technology, whereby we have realized that the untreated maize crop is actually suffering from the damages of fall armyworm and other pests that could be emanating from the soil or from the environment around. There are crops that are actually showing a healthy vigor, a firm stand, which shows that they haven't been affected by any caterpillars, the fall armyworm mainly, and other stem borers. It's actually withstanding the pest and showing signs of tolerance and resistance through the use of the seed treatment technology.
While causing significant losses to farmers, the fall armyworm poses a serious threat to the country's food security. Festus Mkunguru says ZBC News, Harare.
Gastronomy tourism has been described as an emerging ingredient of protecting cultural heritage. These sentiments echoed during the Manicaland Provincial Cookout competition held at Mutare Teachers College this Monday. And Gay Matambo gives us the report.
It was a symphony of aromas and heritage as Manicaland Province showcased its culinary prowess. From the mountains of Nyanga to the low veld in Chipinge, 50 contestants gathered to prove that the road to the nation's heart and its health starts in the kitchen. During the provincial cookout competition, a brainchild of the First Lady, Dr. Auxilia Mnangagwa.
Tiri kudzidza zvinhu zvakawanda nokubatsirika muzvikamu zvakasiyana siyana.
Chikafu chedu chechinyakare ndimo mune kurapwa kwakakodzera, ndimo mune zvese zvinoita kuti kunyange pfungwa dzedu, kunyange mazino edu.
We managed to exhibit and to innovate. We made our own zvinhu zvekare kuzviunza muche tazvimodify kuti zviite zvamanje manje.
The initiative continues to push the gastronomy tourism agenda, encouraging Zimbabweans to embrace traditional dishes.
These provincial cookout competitions, which have escalated from the district level, reflect the vision of our patron, the First Lady, the Excellency Dr. A. Mnangagwa. They are a powerful platform to showcase our cultural diversity.
This year's competition saw a significant increase in youth participation, bridging the gap between modern culinary techniques and ancient tradition.
In 2025, Zimbabwean cuisine was showcased in France and a permanent gastronomy restaurant was established in Italy. The program has empowered over thousands of beneficiaries directly, preserved heritage, and positioned gastronomy as a tool for culture, diplomacy, and economic inclusion. As a result of her work in champion gastronomy tourism, the First Lady was crowned the Queen of Gastronomy in Africa by the World Tourism Organization, UN Tourism.
The winners will represent the province at the national finals, carrying with them the flavors of the Eastern Highlands. Gaima Tambo, ZBC News, Mutare.
Remember, you can share your views and your comments on our social media platforms at ZBC News Online. The main news will be taking a break. Stay tuned for more.
This is a people's game. They will be bubbling about this one for weeks and months to come.
Wherever you are, whatever your reason, it's on SuperSport all season long. Reconnect and stay connected to DSTV Compact and get the best football on us.
I was hoping just to get in a hello, but Daniel beat me to it. You know what, he caught the dub, but little did the boy know he was about to catch an L.
Dibs! All roads lead to Mapisa for the 46th Independence Celebrations. This year's main Independence Celebrations are going to be in Matobo at Mapisa Stadium on the 18th of April. These main celebrations will be preceded by a children's party at Maheche Primary School on the 17th of April 2026. Independence Gala at Minda High School from 1800 hours to 6 a.m. the following day. Matobo hosts the 46th Independence Celebrations. Come one, come all. CMED 46, Unity and Development Towards Vision 2030. This message has been brought to you by the Ministry of Information, Publicity and Broadcasting Services.
Welcome back. You're still watching the main news. Thank you for staying with us. ZANU-PF Manicaland Provincial Coordinating Committee met in Mutare where they finalized coordination of a sensitization program for the Constitutional Amendment Number 3 bill.
The provincial leadership emphasized that the sensitization program is critical in ensuring that the province speaks with one voice, describing the amendments as a key step towards a more stable and efficient constitutional framework.
Ma-team leaders akaenda kuma-inter districts. Titaure kuti takatuma ma-lawyers akaenda kudzidzisa vanhu. Pane zvinoda kuti zvibatsiridzwe nazvo here mutungamiri uri pano. Ndozvetati tidaidzira nemakomurezi titaure nezvazvo.
Ma-updates abva kuma-district akasiyana-siyana zvinoratidza kuti people are embracing the bill. Chiri kukonzera kuti vanhu vaite embrace the bill, it's because people are very, very happy with the vision of the president.
The public consultations are a critical component to making the law. And this meeting was about getting feedback from the ZANU-PF leadership on the understanding and appreciation of this amendment bill by our supporters across the Manicaland province.
Meanwhile, the Provincial Coordinating Committee also welcomed Comrade Paul Tungwarara following his recent co-option into the party's Central Committee. The leadership also engaged Mutare residents unpacking the provisions of the bill. Gaima Tambo, ZBC News, Mutare.
The People with Disabilities for Economic Development has endorsed the Constitutional Amendment Number 3 bill, citing inclusive development being championed under the Second Republic.
A joint engagement meeting in Kadoma that brought together leaders from various religious denominations and members of the People with Disabilities for ED was held on Sunday. Participants voiced strong support for the Constitutional Amendment Number 3 bill. Church leaders at the meeting praised the prevailing freedom of worship in Zimbabwe, while people with disabilities commended government efforts to promote inclusivity through the implementation of the National Disability Policy.
Tirikutsigira musangano uri kutonga today. Tirikutsigira president vatakasarudza nesu takatovhota.
Takatoisa our pastoral declaration. Tikavhuma pasi nekudenga kuti kugona kuri kuitwa naBaba Mnangagwa nepati yeZANU-PF ngazviende mberi.
Iyi haisi nyaya yekuti pari kunzi pari kuda kuwedzerwa term, inonzi pachirungu continuation of progress.
President vachazochuza maseneta 10 avachachuza. Disability isusu takatotarisira kuti president vachachuzawo pamwe isusu vedisability kuti tive ipapo.
Because of Second Republic takavakirwa Muduri referral hospital ndo nzvimbo yekuti kana uchirwara une disability unokwanisa unorapwa mahara.
National Chairperson of People with Disabilities for ED, Mr. Jimai Muduvuri, said the bill will ensure leadership stability and guarantee the continuation of the unprecedented development under the Second Republic.
Kawana zvandoitai sadisability ndichichema nyama dzangu imwe kuziva kuti we are being recognized as disabled people negovernment iripo ndikwana Baba Mnangagwa.
Tamuka Charakupa, ZBC News, Kadoma.
Report will be taking us to a break. Sports news comes shortly.
Some things don't arrive. They've always been. Not for a day, for all of time. Until quietly, something shifts. Moving from someday to now. Women are not honored in time. They are woven through it, shaping every story, every voice, every breath. We are because she is, and because tomorrow they will be.
Welcome back. We now take a look at sports news, starting off with the second edition of the President's Cup Golf Tournament that has been launched, signaling a significant milestone in the development of sport in Zimbabwe.
Over 160 professional golfers are set to participate at the prestigious President's Cup Tournament to run from April 14 to 17 at Blayo Country Club.
Last year it was oversubscribed, 141. Players. Normally a standard field for golf is 120 players, but we ended up having the tournament having a morning tee and an afternoon tee, meaning to say two distinct groups to cater for the oversubscription that had happened. And this year the expectations on the ground are that the numbers could reach even 160.
The President's Cup is set to become an annual event tied to the country's independence commemorations. The event aligns with the President's mantra of leaving no one and no place behind, aiming to promote golf development nationwide. The Deputy Minister of Sport, Recreation, Arts and Culture, Honorable Emily Josiah, emphasized the importance of grassroots sports development initiatives, announcing plans to procure equipment for junior golfers and establish development programs in hosting provinces.
We are also having the President's Cup Junior Golf Tournament, which would also be unfolding soon as a way of trying to encourage our youth to also participate in the sport of golf.
The event will be sponsored by Nat1 to the tune of 50,000 United States dollars.
This tournament is more than golf. It is a demonstration of leadership, vision, and collaboration. A platform where sport, business, and development converge. It reflects Comrade Dr. President Mnangagwa's unwavering commitment to building a prosperous, inclusive, and forward-looking Zimbabwe.
With its growing reputation and inclusive approach, the President's Cup is poised to elevate Zimbabwean golf to new heights, embodying the President's vision of a more equitable society. Anna Shemrombedzi, ZBC News, Harare.
The Zimbabwe national football team, the Warriors, will be chasing their first silverware in 8 years when they face the Zambian national football team in the final Four Nations tournament in Francistown this Tuesday. And Lawrence Trusida gives us the details.
The Warriors are rediscovering their bite just at the right time. A team once criticized for lacking the cutting edge now looks sharp, dangerous and direct under Marian Marinica. 10 goals in 6 matches tell the story of a side transformed, and now with confidence surging, the Warriors stand on the brink of ending an 8-year trophy drought as they prepare to face Zambia in the final. Zimbabwe appear to have found the cutting edge again, with the Warriors showing a renewed attacking identity under head coach Marian Marinica. Since taking charge, Zimbabwe have scored 10 goals in 6 matches, a sharp contrast to the struggles in front of goal during the final stretch of Michael Nice's tenure. In his last 5 matches, the Warriors managed just a single goal, highlighting a side that controlled the possession but lacked the penetration in the final third. The shift in approach has been clear.
My philosophy always is to go and to play fast and very fast, at the same time to play attacking football no matter whatever team is. So I'm looking as much as possible to score, because basically if you don't score, you don't win matches.
To keep on training, keep on having those kind of meetings, I think it's helping us as a team. Like now we've managed to scoring some goals now. I think it comes from those meetings, it comes from that investment, like each and every time, like to train hard, play well, think about football.
While Nice emphasized the ball retention, Marinica has introduced a faster, more direct style that prioritizes attacking intent and efficiency in front of goal. A team that scores goals always gives itself a chance, and Zimbabwe's recent form suggests they are rediscovering the winning formula at the right time. A victory would not only confirm a resurgence, but also secure Zimbabwe's first silverware in 8 years.
And now the Confederation of African Football (CAF) has announced plans to expand the Africa Cup of Nations from 24 to 28 teams, aiming to increase inclusivity and develop football across the continent.
CAF President Patrice Motsepe reviewed the decision, citing the need to give more nations a chance to compete on the big stage in African football. The expansion will provide opportunities for over half of CAF's 54 member associations to qualify for the tournament, strengthening Africa's global football competitiveness. The move is part of broader reforms, including introducing an annual Nations League from 2029 with a 16-team final tournament every 2 years.
The African Nations League Pan-African, as I told you earlier, will be identical to the current AFCON. So you will have every year a world-class competition on the African continent with the best players from the continent who play all over the world, playing in Africa. In the past, they only came once every 2 years. So now they're going to come every year. And every 2 years, we will have what's called the African Nations League Pan-African, which is a replica of 24 nations, which we currently have.
Motsepe emphasized the importance of predictable and reliable fixtures aiming to develop football across Africa. The 2027 AFCON will proceed as planned in Kenya, Tanzania and Uganda, with the tournament shifting to a 4-year cycle post-2028. This expansion marks a significant milestone in African football, promising more teams and more competition. Anna Shemrambedzi, ZBC News, Harare.
And that story takes us to the Met Department to give us the weather and weather forecast.
Good evening, Zimbabwe. It is time for your evening weather report and forecast. I hope I'll find you well. A cloud system over the southeastern parts of the country resulted in cloudy and cool conditions in those areas. Elsewhere, we get partly cloudy and mild conditions becoming warm by afternoon. And tomorrow again, we expect the cloudy conditions to continue over the eastern and southern parts of the country, where we expect some isolated thunder showers that may be thundery in places. As shown in the satellite images there, tomorrow we expect a lot of cloud over the eastern half of the country, where we expect those isolated showers, which may be having some heavier falls, especially over Chipinge and Chirezi districts. Elsewhere, plenty of sunshine expected, particularly the central parts of the country there. Your minimum temperatures should be in the mild category. 15 degrees Celsius for Harare, 17 for Bulawayo, Gwanda, Gweru and Masvingo. Chirezi with 20 degrees Celsius, Mutare 17, again 22 is expected for Kariba. Maximum temperatures 23 for the capital city, Harare, Bulawayo with 27. Chirezi expect 26, Mutare with 25, Kariba up north with 31, Victoria Falls with 30, Lupane 29, Kokwe 25. In the week ahead, Bulawayo expects some partly cloudy conditions. It should be mild at first, becoming warm later. The same conditions should go for Matobo. Gwanda again partly cloudy. It should be warm in the afternoon. Gweru partly cloudy, mild at first, becoming warm later. Masvingo, some isolated showers expected, that is on Tuesday. Same for Mutare again. It should be cloudy with isolated thunder showers. Nyanga partly cloudy. It should be cool throughout. Marondera, isolated showers expected, that is on Tuesday tomorrow. Same for Harare again. Expect some isolated showers that may be thundery in places. Kadoma partly cloudy, mild at first, becoming warm later. Chinoy expect some isolated showers, that is on Wednesday. Victoria Falls, plenty of sunshine expected, mild at first, becoming warm later. Lupane partly cloudy, it should be hot in the afternoon. Bindura expect some partly cloudy conditions, mild at first, becoming warm later in the afternoon. Kariba again, plenty of sunshine expected, it should be warm to hot in the afternoon. Well, Zimbabwe, thank you for watching tonight's edition of the Weather Report in Focus. Let's make a date again tomorrow at the same time. It is back to the main desk.
Well, many thanks to you, Benjamin Kwaramba, for giving us the way of the weather tonight, putting a cap on the main news.
Indeed, it's a good night from us. Catch you tomorrow.
Good night.